Don Wilson here at the top MMA News, here with Anna Barone.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Doing good?
Fantastic, yes.
Good to hear. First, let's just give the fans a little brief history on you. So how you got started, where you're training, and what's going on with you right now.
How I got started? I started off training MMA, MMA about 19 months ago. I was at a kind of turning point, whether I train for another marathon or pick up something that I've always loved. And I did kickboxing and karate, you know, when I was you know, younger than many people, and checked out a few gyms, and then walked into Fit MMA, which is here in Ottawa, and kind of by the first time I stepped in and met Craig Brown, who is the owner of Fit and also a great fighter. And he looked at me, he said, you know, welcome. He goes, what are you looking to do? And the minute that the energy hit me, I looked at him and I said, fight. So, and he didn't, he kind of turned and said, all right. He goes, let's see what we can do. And that's how it started. So about 19 months ago, and then 6 months after I started training, I took my first amateur fight, and which was fantastic. And then a year from the time I started training, I did my first pro fight.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about how the first pro fight, obviously it wasn't the most best experience for you, I guess, but it got the butterflies out, I take it. It
did get the butterflies out. It was something that wasn't the best experience because, you know, when we went back after that fight with my camp and we took a look at it, at no time was I injured in the fight, or at no time was I given an opportunity to not protect myself. You know, we went back over the tape, and the fight was called as I was going down to turn and take a leg.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, it was something that, you know, I did learn that, one, I need to make sure that whoever's officiating the fight is comfortable with a female fight.
Yeah.
Because as much as, you know, a lot of people want to look at it and say, oh, there's still people that, you know, it's fine, male, female in the sport. Well, with some, especially depending on who they are, aren't comfortable with women stepping into, you know, the ring. And unfortunately, that's what myself and my camp, you know, saw coming out of that fight. So it was called early, but it didn't hold me back.
Speaking of that, we were just recently with the Chris Cyborg and Jan Finney fight. We saw a fight that either a lot of people are saying should have been stopped a lot earlier. What about you? What are your feelings on that fight?
You know,
as far as officiating goes.
As far as officiating, that was kind of taking it a little too far. You know, if I think it was 4 minutes into the fight, the first couple of calls, people thought that it should have been called, and no, she wasn't, like, you know, she still had it together.
And she was still
moving forward. She was still moving forward.
Yeah.
So, you know, she wasn't, you know, she wasn't turtled up. She didn't back away. You know, yes, she took some damage, but it's not like we're in the ring playing patty cakes. Like, you know, we're in there, we're fighting. So you need to take the damage, but are you moving forward? And she was moving forward. So, but they were close to the end. I don't think that they should have went into the second round. It could have been, you know, it could have been something that was called, but she put up a good fight.
Yeah. To her credit, she definitely stayed in there.
She stayed in.
Speaking of moving forward, that's definitely something that you're very known for. We saw that in the last fight against Jen Rickards.
Yes.
Obviously a fight that a lot of people thought should have not got her the first round. But she kept coming, and you kept coming at her, laying everything on. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that last fight?
That was, it was a great fight. It was something I had an opponent change a few times. And we realized in our camp that didn't faze me. Sometimes, you know, when an opponent changes, people's you know, morale kind of goes down. It's hard to keep that energy going. But that's not what we experienced, because I draw from the experience from a lot of the pros that we have on the team, and I train with a good group of guys. So they kept me grounded, and the last fight allowed me to go in and actually get some time in the ring, and that's what we were looking to do. You know, the first time, you know, we weren't given the opportunity, but I have to hand it to Jen. You know, she has a lot of heart and a strong melon, because those shots were coming in.
And were they ever?
And you know, she did take it, but it was, I don't know, it was a KO and not a TKO, and there's something that I never thought, you know, I'd always had people tell me, but when you KO someone, there's it's a good feeling, you know, whether, you know, whoever wants to take whatever from that, but it's a...
Well, a good thing with that top of the main news did give you fight of the night for that show.
Thank you.